Hey, Luke, your 22nd win last year didn't come until April, and I know different teams, different seasons. But have you been encouraged just by this month and kind of what's building? Do you see things that have been consistent that you can keep taking forward?
Yeah, I've been encouraged by the majority of the season. We were losing a lot of these games early in the year, but that's what you have to go through. Uh, and you never know how long it's going to take a group to, start to figure it out and have the confidence to close out games in the NBA. And we're still not even close to where we're going to be one day. But, the way that this group has approached training camp and started the season with the effort they give has been encouraging to me all season.
Just your take on Ingram's night. Just 26 points, only 12 shots, playing point guard. How would you sum up his evening?
He went 6 for 6 from the free throw line. I gave him love afterwards. I said, way to set the tone for us, because he leads our team in getting to the free throw line, and a lot of nights he's going 1 for 2. So when we're not making free throws, as one of our young leaders, that's got to be partially on him. And tonight he hit them all, and then other guys were making them. So he was really good for us. Other than that, getting beat back door on the opening play of the second half, which is, we talked to him. Every team that at some point beats him back door every night. So he's got to stop giving up those layups on those plays. But he was really darn good again, playing that point position for us.
Luke, I think over these last 10 games, Julius has been really consistent for you as well. You talked about setting a tone. Did you feel like his physicality early
Absolutely.
was important
that was
tonight?
Another thing I mentioned in the post game to the players was, for Julius, the consistency that he's been doing that with was impressive. And it was, you go against Carmelo Anthony, and it's easy, obviously, to get up for that. He's one of the all-time, great players. And nothing against, Bender, but I was interested to see if Drew was going to bring that same intensity level. And you could see it in his eyes when the game was starting. He was ready to go again. So that's big growth for him, because consistency has been something I've been on him about since we got here last season. And I agree with you, over the last month, he's been very consistent for us.
For all the progress this team has made, it does oftentimes show its youth, and a lot of times that has happened against lesser teams.
Mm-hmm.
What did you kind of take away from the fact that coming off the long road trip, they had that resolve down the stretch, seemed to get better as the night went on, and closed it out in the way they did?
Growth, absolutely. Because with the first half, the challenge was, look, Phoenix likes to play fast. We like to play fast. If we leave it to an up and down game, anyone can win depending on who gets hot late. And in the first half, that we weren't committed to our defense. It was 57-57, and it was going down that path of, let's see who can outscore who. And as a group, they did a great job of turning the focus from offense to defense in the second half, and that's when we were able to kind of start to get some separation and continue to build on that. But that comes from that our group of players, growing and maturing as the season goes along.
Did you see when they flipped that switch, or was there a play, or was it just the whole second half?
No, it was the second half. It was nice. I walked in the locker room and guys were talking about what happened in the first half and how they could cover things differently. I gave my 2 cents, and you could tell with the way they were talking to each other on the court and the effort they were giving, that they were locked into getting stops for that second half.
Luke, you guys gave up 12 offensive rebounds in the first half. How were you able to clean that up in the second half?
Well, we got more physical. Our guys did a better. I mean, we showed a clip at halftime where T.J. Warren literally outworked 4. It was him and 4 of our guys in the paint, and he tipped it twice, got his own rebound. We all stood around and watched, and he laid it in. And we got more physical as a team. We're a good rebounding team because all of our players rebound, from our guards, to our wings and our bigs. So when we just stand around and watch, a lot of times we'll get we got guys that are bigger than us, but when we all come in and we're flying in, and Josh Hart and Bi are coming in and cracking back, that's when we're good, and then we can get out and run. So we did a better job of when shots went up, all 5 guys getting in there to aggressively attack the rebounds.
Luke, over here. You held them to, I think it's like 3 points over the last 8 minutes. What did you like about that particular stretch?
Everything. That's everything defensively. Offensively, there was a couple of possessions they were hanging around because we were getting our stops and then not taking advantage of it, including Josh Hart trying to throw a lob instead of just making the simple bounce pass to Kuzma running the lane. But defensively, that's why defense is so important to what we're trying to do here, because that's how you win games. And that's what we weren't doing early in the year. We were playing hard. We were playing good defense until the end, and we could never get stops. And when you can't get stops, it's tough to win down the stretch. And now our guys are able to turn up our defensive pressure without fouling, without gambling. And we've done a really nice job of being able to get stops down in the fourth quarter.
I guess Josh Hart said this is like his 3rd straight double-double. Have you seen a guard who rebounds like him? And did you know he had this game, that side of his game?
Well, yeah, one of the first things I didn't know in college, and scouting him, I didn't know he was such a good rebounder. But we found out really quick. It was one of the first things I remember Brian Shaw telling me when we were watching our summer league training camp was, dang, Josh and Zoe are incredible rebounders from that guard spot. And, so he showed early on the way he aggressively goes after that, that was going to be one of his strengths. And, you never know what it's going to translate to in the pros when you're talking about these grown men you're playing against. But obviously with him, the way he goes after those balls, he's a very, very good rebounder. As far as have I seen someone that I'm sure there is if I had more time to think about it, but he's definitely one of our team's best one of our team's best rebounders.
Last question.
The last 3 or 4 games, Brandon seems to be growing more comfortable with doing what he would normally do in a game and taking on some of the responsibility Lonzo would have as far as running the offense. What are you seeing from him that's accounting for that?
He's doing a much better job of, which is part of one of the reasons we made the move was we need him. I told him my vision for him is a player that every time he has the ball, he's putting pressure on the other team's defense. And that doesn't mean scoring and shooting 30 shots, but that means getting into the paint. We shouldn't have to run any plays for for wings. He should get into the paint and they should get threes from him kicking out because he's collapsed a defense. But we need him to play faster to do that. And he's embraced it and done a much better job than I knew he could do this job. I just didn't know he would do it so quickly when asked to take on that added responsibility.
Just a lack of hesitation as it's going along, as far as going quicker.
As far as going quicker, what do you mean?
Going quicker and just doing what you're asking quicker, just growing less hesitant.
Well, I think he's just thinking less. That's kind of he's a player that likes to think the game, but sometimes that just he catches and holds when he does that, and he tries to dictate things. He has such a good feel for the game of basketball that when he's just playing and reacting to what the defense is doing and making the appropriate play, that's when he's at his best.